visiting Houston from Chennai. The roaring, successful program that happened last weekend, Tyagaraja Utsavam. He was the chief artist for that program, and it went very successful, and of course to be expected from the what he is referred to as the best musician Sundaram in Indian circles. And as you've seen just in the last 10 minutes, he's a musicologist, and I'm not qualified to talk about Indian music at all. And but he has so much knowledge about not just South Indian classical music, but also Hindustani music, and also connects to Western music as well. And so for musicians, he's somebody who even good musicians will learn from.
He's a polyglot.
Polyglot is the word. Polyglot is the word that I was looking for. And on top of that, now, as though this was not enough, his interest spans to areas that most Indians and Hindus are kind of unaware of, which is some of the threats that Hindu Dharma itself is facing. The music, classical music is part of Hindu Dharma, and so, as you all know, he is translated Swami Devananda Saraswati Ishwar Sharan's book, The Myth of Mylapore St. Thomas Temple. How many of Indians will be aware of this concept itself, and that a church was once a temple and so forth? That's many Indians cannot even imagine that such things have happened. Santom Church in Mylapore. So as I was coming, driving down here, he was talking about, he's written other books too. He's written a book on Max Muller himself. And so think of the knowledge of history of India too. How many musicians have that much of interest and authority in that area. So that's what attracts us, this small little group that he's come to know a little bit recently. Very young group and very interested group, wanting to know so much from people like Dr. Sundaram. So he's worked, his work was, he was an assistant music director in India. That was his profession, and he was working with
All India Radio.
Before All India Radio, Dr. Ramanathan, G. Ramanathan, we all know about him. Then he worked with him for a while, and then he joined All India Radio. Many years he spent there as a producer there, and there the responsibilities are even more, in the sense he's responsible for designing the outcome of the classical music programs of All India Radio, so situated in Pondicherry. So he's had that kind of experience, and so he felt like there was a lot of administrative work that was going on, and after a while he learned, he wanted to get back to music hardcore, and so since then he's been doing a lot of research, and impressively he's written books outside the scope of music itself. And so since the time is running short, I'll stop with that and maybe have Vivek say a few words.
We can go on and on, but two things. He's very proud that he's a student of Dr. Balamali Krishna, whom we all know is a living legend. And then the other thing is also comes in the lineage of the famed Tanjavur Quartet. We are aware of the music or dance tradition, who did well in the Shishya Parampara of celebrated composer Muthuswami Dikshit. So,
Yeah, you are right.
I just wanted to allude to that, given that, so, but he's not listing all his laurels, but he has taken it one notch further.
Exactly.
He's talking to me about his training and all. So I just wanted to allude to all that, because, when we talk about the individual, there is a lot of influences, and, scholars are not just mass produced. There is a lot of, situational and contextual factors that come together, and that's what makes a rich scholar. So I would like to take this discussion a little further, and I kind of volunteered to moderate or kind of steer it in some way, not for any other reasons. He's like an ocean, and I just wanted to be a humble boatman to make sure we get somewhere. That's the only thing. And with that, I would like all of us to chime in, because that's the group we are. Just to give a background, sir, we call this the Indian History Awareness and Research Group, IHAR. We are a group of people who are, most of us here I think have a master's degree or a PhD. So all of us have been trained in some research, but not necessarily social science research. But we are indeed passionate about Indian culture and Indian research, and basically because also we deem that there is a threat to it from a Western universalist perspective, or quote unquote a very Semitic threat, and that is the reason why some of us want to do something to mitigate or help protect dharma. That is the the overarching nucleus of this group, or the motivation behind this group. So, but just to start off, in your own words, kind of give us a little bit of glimpse of your life history as a scholar, starting from your lineage and so on and so on.
Namaskara to all of you. I am very happy to say something, but you said that I am an ocean. I don't think that I will be salty.
It's a good one.
Anyway, I am not at all an ocean. I have studied, I have put my effort, and all by God's grace. See, basically I am a musician coming from a family of musicians, and I started to do research in music with the help of Saraswati Mahal, which many of you know. But towards Hinduism, or what should be called as Sanatana Dharma, how I entered, that is very important. He asked the question there while we were coming. I said, I will tell you about it. You know, Kanchi Paramacharya, he was too close to me. Because I was, in those times, I used to go to Kumbakonam to learn music from the great violin maestro Rajamanikam. I was a very young boy, maybe 10 or 11 years old. I was sitting with him. At the time, a Nagasura Vidwan came there and he said, going to the mutt? Okay, I'll meet you later. Rajamanikam said. Immediately I asked, Mama, who is he? Where? Which mattam? He said, Shankaracharya Swami Madam. Oh, I see. But before that, I want to tell you, my mother was a Vaishnavite. She belonged to a Divya Desham called Tirupper Nagar. But she married a non-Brahmin, that is a different story. So, it is Kanchi Shankaracharya. Who is he? He's a very great sage. He is here. Okay, I said, after the class was over, with the desire to meet that sage, I went to the Kanchi Mutt. It is just by the side of the Kaveri river. I went there, I didn't know what to do because I was a young boy. What is the protocol, how to enter, whether to get a permission, I didn't know. I straight away went there and I was very Swamiji. That man, Swamiji, Kulikapurkar, he is in the bath. Immediately I went to the Kaveri river. He was at the time getting from that, the steps. I immediately found out because there are many disciples standing around him. So I thought this must be the, see, immediately I went and caught hold of his Madi Koraja Puchav. Our father, go and wait there. Then again he dipped into the Madi, of course, Adala Namma. Then he came, he asked one of his disciples to take me to the puja. He did the puja, I was waiting there. After that he gave me himself a prasad. Immediately he asked me, are you not the son of Meenakshi Sundaram? I was taken aback. Because how could he infer that I am the son of Meenakshi Sundaram? I didn't tell. This must be a very great man. Okay. Then I came back. When I came to my mother, I said I went and saw Kanchi Acharya. Only because of him you are born. My mother said, how is it? Because I didn't have any child. So your father and myself, when he was camping in Tanjavur, we went there to have his darshan. One disciple was giving prasadams to all. When our turn, my father's and my mother's turn came, he looked at me and said, just, then only you were born. So you were born only because of the blessings of the sage. So my affinity with him got more. Then After a very long time, maybe I used to go to Kanchimat. I was studying in the Shivaswami High School at Tirukkattupalli. At the time, they started a Veda class. So the hostel warden announced, those who are interested to learn Vedas may give their names. I gave my name. Immediately the headmaster called me, you are a non-Brahmin, you should not study Vedas. He said, why? Acharya will be unhappy. Which Acharya? Kanchi Acharya. I came back to my room. I wrote a letter to Acharya. See, I am very interested to learn Vedas, but my headmaster doesn't allow me. He removed my name from the list. After about 10 or 15 days, again the headmaster called me. Did you write any letter to the Mutt? I was simply keeping it because in those times, he'll be having a cane, he'll beat me. So I was standing. Then he said, he has permitted you, but you sit at the end of that that you must be the last student in the row. When they repeat, you should not repeat. You learn everything, you should not repeat. Okay. So I started with Rigvedam and I went on. In that way also, I was very grateful to Paramacharya. In the 70s, maybe 71 I think, there was a Patna Pravesham. I was standing in a corner somewhere. He was coming in a mena. Mena means a palanquin. He beckoned to me. About 7 o'clock in the night. I didn't know that he was a very great person. How could he call me? There was one Mailattur Ramachandran, a Mridanga Vidwan. He was standing there. Periva no koopurra. Irkadu, enna irkadu. Onnadam koopurra. So I went. Everybody used to give him garlands. He'll put everything there. He threw one garland on me and said, Periva, Adi Periva, Neriya Stotrangalam Panirkale, Ni Adala, Padikiliya. That is Adi Shankaracharya has composed lots of hymns. Don't you know about it? I don't know. You sing, you compose music. Why not you compose some stotras? Okay, I can do that. But I don't know to whom I should teach and why. Your guru is there. You ask him to sing, he will sing. Okay, I don't know what stotra because I am not at all acquainted with that. After about 10 days, I got about 28 volumes, complete works of Adi Shankara. It came to me. But you got plenty of stotras, Pandurangashtakam, Sudarshanashtakam, thousands of hymns. What to do? At the time, one Swaminath Athrayan, he is still alive there, was very close to Mutt. So I went there. Enna, my Periva, Utturu Pundraka, but you got plenty of the I will tell you after consulting Acharya. Then after about 10 days he came to my house and said, Swamiji has selected these verses. That is, Shiva Namavalli Ashtakam, Shiva Panchakshara Stotram, Tripura Sundari Navaratna Malika, Shyamala Navaratna Malika, Kala Bhairavashtakam, Shatpati. Then one more, I think it is Sudarshanashtakam something. Okay, I composed music. I went to my Guruji and said, Swamiji has said that. Okay. So all the songs on Sudarshana or Panduranga or Shiva were sung by my Guruji. They have been recorded and brought out by HMV. The Tripura Sundari, that another one, Shyamala Navaratna Malika, I asked yes Janaki. the very great playback singer. She obliged. I have got it. I have brought it there. But it is in my iPod, you have to transfer it to your computer and then only you can listen to it. Anyway, in that way, I was attracted to these stotras first, then to Hinduism. He was giving a series of lectures in the Sanskrit college in Madras. So he sent word to me through someone, asked him to attend. Every day I went there. He will smile at me, he will bless me, he will go on lecturing. What is Topu Karanam? Topu Karanam podu, Tapu Panna, Topu Karanam podu, what is it? Nobody knew. He explained, Dorbihi Karanaha. The Karana is here with the two hands. Then one day, Paramacharya was coming towards, the town high school road. E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakar, the great atheist, he was coming with his followers, he was sitting on a throne like this road. These people are Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara, this Gosha. And the other side, Periyar Valga, something like that. Immediately, Swamiji said, wait, let us go later. Let that procession go. Periyar, that Ramaswamy Nayakar asked one of his deputies, what is that? What is the crowd there? You know that Shankaracharya is come. Kanchi Shankaracharya immediately got out of the throne like seat, got out of the vehicle with the help of 2 or 3. He came there. Swamiji was standing. He went and prostrated. Swami, நீங்க வர்றீங்கன்னு எனக்கு தெரியாது. It's okay, he said. நீங்க போங்க. இல்லப்பா நீ போயிடு. இல்ல நீங்க தான் உங்களை தான் நாங்க ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும். We have to follow you, he said. Then our I was said, this man says you have to kill a Brahmin. If you see a Brahmin and a serpent, you leave the serpent, you kill the Brahmin, he says. There is no God, he says. All are fools who preach about God, he says. But this man falling at the feet of this great sage. Oh, right. At the time, he camp in Karvetinagar. I went there. He sent word. Because at that time, this Jayendra Saraswati, I'm sorry, that is different story. Jayendra Saraswati had come to the Pita. He was retaining on a small cottage like this. He sent word. I went there. I stayed there for 4 or 5 days. He was, in a way, he was teaching me. Not exactly, I wouldn't say it is teaching. He was explaining what is Sanatana Dharma. It is Hinduism they call, okay, but it should be called Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is this. There is no Vaishnava, there is no Shaiva. You may follow any. Suppose you are a Vaishnava, you follow God, no doubt. But don't blame another person who puts a vibhuti. Similarly, a vibhuti man, no, don't say that. Oh, we are all brethren, we are all Hindus. You must have that. He explained so many things. Then he said, we are surrounded by great forces. One is Muslims, another is Christians. They are ready to swallow our culture, our country, our people. So we have to be very vigilant, he said. So try to concentrate on that angle also. So he was the first to initiate me into the Sanatana Dharma. Otherwise, I would have not known about it. Then I started to read many Shastras. And then I came to know a little bit. If we get any doubt, I will go to the Acharya. If he is available, or to some great scholar, Sanskrit scholar, what is the meaning of this? Because I know a little bit of Sanskrit. I was able to. Then I started to write books. I was telling you, Mr. Jayakumar, I wrote about Max Muller. Because he was the one who said Aryas are Brahmins. They have sent away the Dravidians, the non-Brahmins. It's not true to my heart. Finally, before his death, he has accepted it. This must be noted. What all I said is only because the East India Company compelled me to say. Actually, it is not so. There is no Aryan invasion at all. He has written it. You can see it in his autobiography. I have brought out everything. How he was earlier, when he said about Aryan invasion, how he was enrolled in the East India Company, why he didn't come to India. He has mentioned that. Only because of Swami Dayananda, the great Arya Samaj. Swami Dayananda Saraswati is there. So I don't dare to put my foot in the soil of India. That is what he has written.
So just to allude, here most of us are inspired by the Swami Dayananda Saraswati of Archer India.
Okay.
So again another great force. So just to allude, that is what keeps us. Most of us got
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
current is Gita.
See, no, I am telling about that Dayananda Saraswati because
Yeah.
Max Muller was afraid of him.
Because,
Is it not a great thing?
Oh yeah.
He did that. And then I wrote about what happened to Hindu temples. They were desecrated by the Muslims as well as Portuguese. The present Saint Santom Church, that was the original Kapalishwara temple, right? We find reference in, Sambandar's Tevaram. He says, he addresses Shiva, oh, you are on the shore of the beach because you are witnessing the girls or women who come and take bath there. He has written that. Sundar, I mean, Sambandar. Jnana Sambandar. And even today, inside the church, Nagaswami and myself went there and see that there are many evidences, inscriptions still there that have not been removed from that place, which says that this is the Ishwara temple, not Kapali, Ishwara temple.
So did you write an article in Hindu?
Who?
Did you write any article in
Yeah,
Hindu? I read an article about
You
this.
read that?
I have read that
Very
article.
good, thank you.
I think you only wrote
Yeah,
an
yeah,
article
yeah.
about this, and you had shown, you had said the foundation of this church
Yeah.
is actually the foundation stones or the foundation pillars can be still seen.
Yeah, still there. That is why. That is what I say. Then the Hindus, they couldn't do anything, so they approached the Nawab, Arcad Nawab, the present Kapalishwara temple. The land is owned by the Arcad Nawab. Even today.
Even today அந்த டெம்பிள் கோவில் அந்த இது அந்த டேங்க்ல ஏதோ
Tank அவாளுது.
அவன் வந்து பண்ணுவாங்க.
தெப்போத்சவம் பண்ணணும்னா you have to get prior permission from the Arcad Nawab. So they were very kind enough to give the land for building the Kapalishwara temple. So what happened to Hindu temples? So many places like Somanath, in many other places, all the temples have been desecrated by the Muslims, either the Muslims or Christians or Portuguese, whatever. I have written about that. Then
So what is the name of the book? Can you say the name of the book?
what is it?
Where have you written this? Is it in a book or
Yeah,
articles?
yeah. The problem is, I have translated many books. In fact, the Kapalishwara temple, the myth of Saint Thomas, and the Mylapore Shiva temple, that is the original English version. I translated for the benefit of people who do not know English. But in spite of that, nobody cares about it. If you say that there is a Muslim neighbor, he is ready to swallow you, let it come. You know, that is a great thing that has brought havoc to our Hinduism. Nobody is ready to accept. See, in Kerala, he knows, in Kerala there are many Arabic schools. There, warfare is taught, even today, which has been found out. But our people, it's okay. Only they teach to their students in their mass. Why should we bother about it? Like that. All the guns are turned only against you, they don't feel that. That is the great. So I started to write books on that. I started to give lectures. In one of the lectures, Swami Dayananda, our Arsha Vidyalaya, unexpectedly he was camping in Tanjavur. He visited there. He enjoyed it. Then he said, "You are very young, but you speak a lot about it. Why not you come to Anakatti?" He said, "I want to come, Swamiji. If you want to publish any other book, you tell me, I will finance. Because we want so many books like this," he said. But I am meant to go to Anakatti. I don't find time. Because even for that, Tena Vina Trinam Api Na Chalati. He has to write on our head. So this is how I entered in the field of Hinduism. To write about Hinduism or to speak about Hinduism. To say about Hinduism. My people, my children, they are all very well educated. But still they are Hindus. In that way I am very proud,
One of your daughters is an IAS officer.
Yeah, eldest daughter. She is an IAS officer. She works
If I may suggest a correction in what you just said, it will sound much better if you had said, "My children are very well educated and they are Hindus," rather than.
No, they are not, well educated. They are all, one is an IAS officer, another is a PhD, one is an MA, MCA, whatever. They are well employed. Everybody is getting about 30,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees, Indian money. But wearing that kumkum, I am sorry to tell you, Mr. Menon, here I find many ladies, Hindus, not wearing kumkum. We are going away from our own culture.
In India
How could you expect to instruct others? How will your children... See, I was telling you, the mother and father both are employed here. In the mornings, they rush to their offices. The children, they themselves get dressed or whatever breakfast available they take, they go by bus. They mingle and move with American children. They don't know. In those times, in our earlier times, there will be a party. A grandmother who used to tell us stories, Rama was coming there, Krishna was going there, something like that. So, today it is not there. Even if you say Rama, I met some students there, young. What do you mean by Rama? They ask me, because they don't know. So we are departing gradually from our culture. That is the only thing which I am very sorry about many, not all. You may be in the West, you may be here, but why do you depart from your own culture? See, you see, when you go to the office, you have to wear pants. You cannot do panchakacham and all that here. Okay, it is not necessary. But why do you leave your punal? Yajnopavitham, it is inside. See, when I was teaching in Massachusetts, all the students come. I will be having this vibhuti. What is this? One professor asked me, as if you have whitewashed your forehead. I said, yes. This is my house. I live here. My spirit lives here.
Very nice.
Till I live, I have to keep it clean. I said, he could not answer. Oh, he said, he left. So, we should not, depart from our culture in any way. Now, when you first there is a kolam. I was happy. Then I saw you. Thirumannan. நம்ம பண்ணிக்கிறதால ஒன்றும் தப்பு இல்லை. Nobody is going to shoot you. So, this is the thing.
Fortunately, shooting is a crime in America.
Huh?
Fortunately, shooting is also a crime in America.
No, not owning a gun.
Yeah.
That's probably easier than. So I'll move on to a little different thing. From one of the reasons maybe that we are not seeing a lot of dharmic research, maybe is the preponderance of people who are educated more in a Western Marxist kind of tradition. So to mitigate that, some of us are trying in our own small way. But to be taken seriously, there is a serious methodology and a rigor that needs to be done if you want to do scholarly work. What are the things that you would suggest for us to make our work to be taken seriously?
In my angle, I could say, you collect all the children, younger ones. Children means not 8-year-old, or it may be even 15-year-old or 18-year-old, younger generation. You collect them, keep it in the Meenakshi temple or anywhere, any place. You tell them the stories, dharmic stories. Because all our mythological stories, they emphasize only dharma. Only because of dharma they came. You tell about dharma. First you tell them the stories. You drag them. And then give them the dharma and all. You train them. He said that you are training young students with the shlokas and all that. That is a very, very good thing. You make them sing. You make them sing. So that is one way. Another is giving talks. Talks in such a way to attract them. The talk should not be boring. They should not yawn and get away. You have to bring some interest in them. That is the methodology you have to use. You must know the communication art. How to communicate. These people, these girls or boys or younger. How to make them understand. Immediately you said about Prahalada or Sri Narasimha, they cannot understand. You have to prepare the ground first. Then you put the seed there. It will grow up.
Actually, to that extent, the temple, we have the Vedic heritage, and actually it was started by Chitra. Chitra was the one who started it, and of course Jayakumar has been a faculty. I used to be there, and then we have the Arshavidya. So that is happening, and thanks to, in a way, I would tell you, Carnatic music has been one reason why people are actually learning, and music and dance is one reason why students are learning some culture. But what we were talking was more serious, the work that if you want to produce some good scholarly work, that can reach the youngsters. What are some things, of course, apart from communication and all that, anything that we need to use from a rigor or a methodology standpoint that you would recommend?
So you said Carnatic music, if you say Carnatic music, every song is on some deity.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to explain the meaning.
Yeah.
Simply teaching them the song. Satileni won't do. What is Satileni? What does the composer mean? Everything. Then they will understand that this is about Brihadishwara or Meenakshi or on this deity. They will have something. And you have to tell them about, apart from music, as you say, the rituals, the temple rituals. Why a Deeparadhana? See, I used to tell, you go to the shrine, inside the shrine, there is Sriman Narayana or Linga, Shiva, or whoever the deity. You go there, what you do? You do, immediately. Why? Why you do this? The thumbs show inside, the God resides inside your heart. So the Paramatma as well as the Jivatma becomes one. When it becomes one, you are able to see the real God. हमारे यार हम में हैं, हमने सिर्फ भोजबारी क्या, आज के कबीर। हमारे यारे हम में हैं, our friend who is God. Real friend is only God. He is the one who helps you, not all others. They may be friends for certain period of time, only that much. From birth to death, the person who helps you, who is a friend, is only God. So, हमारे यार हम में हैं, हमने सिर्फ भोजबारी, जो चलना राग नाजुक रही. When you go back, that root is something like a small, what do you call, silk. You are taking so much of these things on your head. He asked Kabir. So, this is one thing. How to make them understand by this thing. You give them small histories. Small histories about the great saints Ramanuja, Madhva or Shankara. You take Shankara today, Ramanuja next day. You make them understand. You need not go what is Advaita and what is Vishishta at the present. Because they are young. They may not even, older people may not understand. The greatest of Ramanuja is, there was no caste distinction for Ramanuja. He openly proclaimed the mantra, Ashtakshara mantra, for everybody. Come, whoever is interested, come. This is the thing. That is great. Swami Vivekananda used to say, Advaita is great, but Ramanuja advocated Advaita through his own way, which attracted, which is more true. That is what he said. So you teach about the great saints, particularly these three. This week, once a week you meet, you say, they see, there was one Shankara. He did this. Before he was 20, he passed away. 30, he passed away. He went from Kanyakumari to Himalayas. What was his sadhana? What was Ramanuja's sadhana? Like that. So history comes there. History in the form of a story. If you say history, I used to say the other day also, I was telling Mr. Vivek, our historians, I am sorry, they have written only about wars and battles. If you take Indian history, Cholas, Nayaks, these, he fought him in the year 1682, only that. Not even a single line about the musician or a composer or any this thing. You know, for instance, you belong to Vadakali or Tirunelveli? Vadakali, okay. Vadakali Acharya was Sriman Nigamanta Mahadeshikan, Deshikan Swami. But who was Deshikan Swami? Nobody knew. You know that? Only a Tenkalai Acharya, a Tenkalai person of Doddacharya, of Sholingapuram, he collected the details and gave it to the world. Deshikan Swami is such a great person. This man belonged to Tenkalai, the writer. At the time there was no difference. So history has to come in this way. I want people to write histories about musicians, of course personal, that is, musicians, musicologists, composers, and the great saints who established our Hinduism, be it Shankara or anybody. See, there are, when you write about it, when you speak about history, when you write history, naturally there are people to oppose. No, it is not true. You say 1692, I say 1635. there is a difference of opinion. It should not be there. So, collecting all the available material, we have to present it either by writing or by speaking. சின்ன குழந்தைங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப அழகாக குட்டிக்கு இப்போ நம்ம ஊர்களெல்லாம் அந்த மாதிரி சொல்லலையா, அந்த மாதிரி அதை திருப்பி கொண்டு வரணும். பர்டிகுலர்லி இன் வெஸ்ட் வந்தால் மோஸ்ட் ப்ராபப்ளி நம்ம எப்படி பிஹேவ் பண்ணுறோமோ அது மாதிரி தான் நம்ம சொல்கிறோம். இன் வாட் வே வி பிஹேவ், இன் வாட் வே வி டாக், வாட் வே வி ட்ரெஸ், தே நேச்சுரலி ஃபாலோ. நம்ம பூஜை பண்ணி விளக்கேற்றி நம்ம எல்லாம் பண்ணி வாட் எவர் வி டூ, தே ஃபாலோ. ஓ அம்மா பண்ணுறாங்க, நம்ம பண்ணோம். தே வில் continue with the tradition.
One of the primary objectives of our group, as you know, is literally to even.
The only thing I feel very bad is I am not in history. Otherwise, I will join you in everything, history, music, or whatever.
I got one question, sir. You led the topic towards that. I'd like to know from your opinion on the history of music. There is some opinions about how music itself originated, at least in recorded history.
How music?
How music originated itself. There are some opinions, but sir, my interest is there are a lot of opinions out there saying what school of thought influenced what school of thought. Whether the Western music came into India or Indian music went into Western. I would love to hear your opinions on these things.
Dr. Rajvedam is a PhD in electrical engineering, and but he is also running a music school. He teaches keyboard and guitar, so he's aware of music.
Okay.
And Sandala, I wanted to give that context.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm very interested in knowing exactly that. What system influenced what, or is it completely independently developed systems? Because when we talk about Southern Indian music, most people start with the three saints. They start Tyagaraja, Purandaradasa, Annamacharya, and our narrative starts over there. But we know that Adi Shankara himself wrote, and maybe he also sang, and you may have knowledge about these things. So we'd like to know. We'd like to know about the tradition of music. How old is it? How old can you trace back our?
And Sharagadeva, there's a big.
Sharagadeva is a musical treatise. Sangeeta Ratnakara is exclusively a musical treatise, whereas Ramayana is not. In Ramayana also, in the last chapter, when he speaks about Lavakusha, they say about Murchanas and the other day I was telling in the university, music, you cannot say when it originated. Nobody can say. When a child is born, there is music. When he grows up, when he gets married, there is music. When the cortege is taken to the cemetery, then also is music. So, the human being is related to music right from his birth to his death. Different hemispheres, different types of music. In fact, the Gaidya Russo, he came to India and learnt about the notations, for which we have some references, some authentic evidence. Swami Pragyananda has given that in his work. So, the system may differ, but music is same. But the differences, as I told you in the beginning, Carnatic music has a type of oscillations, gamak, which we call gamakas, which is not found in Hindustani music. In Hindustani music, it is less lyric, whereas in Carnatic music, they call it lyric oriented. In Western music, everything is on the star. Imagination is zero. Imagination is there only with the composer, not with the player or vocalist.
But in jazz, they
Jazz,
improvise.
jazz
Music, they improvise.
You leave jazz. I am talking about classical music.
Opera music. Okay.
That is it.
So is there any evidence of one school influencing the other school? Because we see Westerners evolved, we know they are harmonic, they are strong in harmony, we are strong in melody.
Melody.
So
But
is
even
there any
in
evidence?
Carnatic music, there is harmony. Only it can be done instrumentally. The other day also I said, sa ga pa. It is a chord. It is a
Yes.
major chord. Sa ga pa.
Yes.
I cannot produce all the three in one single voice. If it is an instrument, I can do that.
That's true.
Major chord or minor ga pa ni minor. You can do anything. So we can use harmony, but to a limited extent. See, Tyagaraja himself just composed in Western tunes, you know that. Varalila Gana Lola, Shruti Moola, Moola Bharita Jala, like that. It's like a march.
Dikshita Notuswaram.
Dikshita
Yes,
Notuswaram.
Dikshita has also composed.
Sarasanetra.
Ah,
Shamali
No.
Meenakshi.
right. But it is wrong to call it Notuswaram. Because Notu is Swaram.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't. I just
No,
wanted we had a program called Shanti that Kanik serial. He did it and most of us here were, Raj was a part of it, Chitra was part of it to some extent, Jayakumar was the prime
This was
word.
Prasad.
We got exposed to some of these concepts. So Notuswaram is a word English, Romba Tangit. So just to, yeah, Raj, you have a question? I wanted to keep moving on. One is, you talked about the temple tradition and the Devadas.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's
Yesterday
Saraswati
also I
Mahal.
was,
The Rendati I wanted to spend some time on.
Yeah, when yesterday also completely in Ratna's studio, she wanted me, because I didn't know, she didn't give me the topic. As soon as I went there, Mama, you have to speak about this. Okay, I said. So as I used to say, I acted as the microphone. Somebody spoke.
Bhagavan spoke.
Eh?
Bhagavan spoke.
எங்களுக்கு சின்ன வயசுல இப்போ நான் சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேனே எங்க மதர் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா சின்ஸ் ஷீ ஹேப்பன் டு பி அ வைஷ்ணவைட் நாங்கள் வந்து எங்கள் ஊர் பெருமாளுடைய கையிலங்காழி செங்கன் கருமுகில் கருநிறத்தன் பொய்யலன் தன் தான் தாள் அடைவரையில் அடிமையாக்கும் செய்யலர் கமலமோங்கு செறிபொழில் தென்திருப்பேர் பையரவணையான் நாமம் பாரு இந்த ஹோல் நம்மாழ்வாருடையது இப்போ திருமங்கை ஆழ்வாருடைய அவர் 2 பேரும் மங்களாசனம் அதை பூரா நாங்கள் ஒப்பிச்சா தான் சாப்பாடு அப்படி நாங்கள் வளர்ந்தோம் டெம்பிள் அண்ட் ஆர்ட் ரெண்டும் ஒன்று தான் art as well as architecture. With the help of architecture you build the temple. With the help of art you worship the deity. All. When you worship, it is both by music and dance. Because these two arts came into existence only for temple service, originally. Not for public, for the proscenium stage, no. Only to do service in the temples. It became 3 categories. One is vocal. If it is a Vishnu temple, there were singers. They used to sing the Divya Prabandha.
Arayas.
Not Arayas is different. Arayas Sevi is different. They used to dance, they used to perform Abhinaya for selected verses. That is during the festival. But every day, from morning to night, in the Vishnu temple, there were singers, devotional singers. They used to recite or sing, they will sing mostly, Divya Prabandha or Pasurams, as they say. In Saivite temples, Tevaram, Thiruvajakam, like that, the Tirumurai, there. But in both temples, there was Nagaswaram and Tavil. They are the main instruments. My doctoral thesis is only about that. 2 great temple musical instruments of South India. Nagaswaram and Tavil. Without that, there was no worship, no service in any temple. Be it a Vishnu temple or Shiva temple. You don't differentiate between Vishnu or Shiva here. Just temple. The place where God abides. That's all. The another one is dance. So all these three arts were nurtured within the temple precincts. During a particular ritual, the devotional hymn singer will sing. During another ritual, the Nagaswaram player will play. For instance, in the Ushad Kala, the morning, he will play the Raga Bauli or Bhupalam or whatever. And during the temple procession, these singers will follow the deity. Whereas in front of the deity, Nagaswaram and Tamil people will be there. They have a tradition. Each temple had a tradition. If you take Tiruvarur, Tyagaraja temple or Chidambaram Nataraja temple, they had their own tradition. What to play, when to play, where to play, how to play. That is one. Near Chidambaram or Sirgadi, there is a Vaishnavite, called Nangur, Tirunangur. Garuda Seva is very, very good. Dwadasha Garuda Seva. For that, in that Perumal temple, they maintain a tradition, what to play. Like that. So, Mallari, Raga and Pallavi.
Nachiyar Kovil.
Huh?
Nachiyar Kovil.
Nachiyar Kovil இருக்கு.
அது நீ கல்கருடர் நான் இவர் தாதசன்
Nachiyar Kovil Garudan stone na. But 12 Garuda சேவைன்னு அது வந்து நாங்கூர் தான். So, the important items in the temples are, during the worship, the Nagaswaram player, I told you about Divya Prabandham and Tevaram already, the vocalist singing, leave it. The Nagaswaram player has a repertoire. As I said, during the early hours, Raga Bhupala, in the Uchikala Puja, Madhyamavati, Shayaraksha Puja, Aghogi, like that. They had their own. And if the temple is in procession, not only in procession, I will tell you later, generally the deity is in procession, they have to play Mallari. Mallari is in Gambhira Nataraga. I will tell you that, though your topic is not connected with the music, I want to tell you that. Gambhira Nata is a pentatonic scale. Sa, ga, ma, pa, ni, sa, ni, pa, ma, ga, sa. 5 notes. Yeah. Okay. This Mallari used to be played only in the Gambhira Nata Raga. That was very strict in those times. When the players gave importance to tradition. That was the time. Similarly, before that Mallari, or even before anything, you could have observed, if you had listened to some Nagaswaram performance, be it in a wedding or a social function or in the temple, before the Nagaswaram starts, only the Tawil will play. For Mallari, he will play Kandagati, which has 5 aksharas. Ton, 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 taka takita, taka takita, taka takita. He will go on playing. It is Kanda. The swaras for the raga are 5. This is 5, particularly because Panchabhutam, everything is 5. Be it a Vishnu temple or Shiva temple, everything is in 5. So, the raga should be with the 5 notes, the tala should be in 5 notes, like that Mallari. Particularly in the Vaishnavite temples, Tirumadepalli, that is the temple kitchen. When the prasadams, Naivedyam, is brought from the Madapalli to the shrine, it will be preceded by a Nagaswaram with a Mallari. It is called Taligai Mallari. Taligai is the term which is popularly used among Vaishnavas. Taligai Mallari. Like that you have got Tirtha Mallari when the water is brought from the tank or river to bathe the idol.
இது திருப்பதியில உண்டு. சீவெட்டி.
ஆமா அவ வந்து அந்த யானை மேல உட்கார்ந்து
யானை வெட்டி உண்டு. சீரகத்தை உண்டு.
ஆமா. So it is called Tirtha Mallari. Like that, you have got different types of Mallaris to be played. And there was a strict prohibition not to play any lyric, any composition. You should not play. When the deity is in procession on the four streets, you should not play Kirtana or Padam or Javali, only Raga. That is why Nagasuram became a very great instrument which was a torch bearer to other categories of musicians, particularly in elaborating a raga. Manodharma.
So only raga is played in the temple.
Yeah.
In the procession.
During the procession. And Pallavi will be played in that raga. See, suppose if the temple has a festival for 10 days, the ancients have given it. Today, Karakara Priya, the next day, Kamboji, third day, Usaini, like that, they will follow them. Only the Mallari will be Gambhira Nata. That too, until the deity comes out of the Gopura and joining the main road, east main road. That's all. After that, he will start with Raga. For that particular day, he will go on playing.
சாகித்யம் கிடையாது.
No Sahityam. Ragam தானே. இந்த சாகித்யத்துக்கு
கோவில்ல இது உற்சவம் போது
மல்லாரிக்கு சாகித்யம் கிடையாது. நோ. ஒண்ணுமே
வேற சமயத்துல
வேற சமயத்துல உண்டு. அது நான் அப்புறம் சொல்றேன். இது ஜெனரல். அப்புறம் when they come to the southern gate, they will start the Pallavi in that same raga. அப்புறம் வந்துரும். சுவாமி எப்படி சுத்தி இதே elaborate பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. Swara Prastaram, etc. Then when the deity comes back to the temple, the Deeparadhana will be performed. If it is a Vishnu temple, they have to play a Pasuram. If it is a Shiva temple, they have to play a Tevaram. Then the deity will be taken to a special mandapam called Tatti Chutru Mandapam. Anga vachiruvaa. In those times when Devadasis were doing service, she has to go around the deity thrice. At that time, the Nagasuram player will not be playing. He will be keeping quiet. Whereas the Tawil, he will be playing tom, 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 tom. Tattudal. Just beats. Tattudal, Ival Sutrudal. So it is called, the Mandapam itself came to be known as Tatti Chutru Mandapam. After that, the Devadasi will bring the Koda Deeparadhana and perform it with the priest or herself. It depends upon that. As if to ward off the evil. Drishti Parigana. Somebody asked me the other day, or yesterday, I don't remember. கடவுளுக்கே என்ன திருஷ்டி? கடவுளுக்கு எப்படி திருஷ்டி வரும்? கடவுள்ங்கிறது நிர்குணம். It is formless, attributeless, nameless. But you give a form, you attribute it. Okay. When the deity is taken out, அது பெருமாள் அப்படியே நிற்கிற மாதிரி இல்லை, லிங்கம் இருக்கிற மாதிரி இல்லை. You decorate it as a man, as a human being, with all the ornaments and all that. So, the God comes out in the form of a human being. Human being அவர் வச்சு naturally திருஷ்டி. அதுவும் அழகு.
காவேரி ரங்கா இது பாடியிருக்காரு. தியாகராஜர் பாடுறது. காவேரி ரங்கா இந்த ரங்கா
எல்லாமே when the deity அலங்காரம் பண்ணணும்னு அதுக்கு ஒரு அழகு. அழகு வருது naturally திருவிழா போற முன்னாடி எல்லாம் பார்த்தாங்க இப்படி இருக்கானேன்னு சொல்றது இல்லையா? அது திருஷ்டி. To ward off that removal, to ward off that evil, the Devadasi will show the Kodamura. Then the deity will be taken. போய் அங்கே போய் சன்னிதியில் வச்சு Vaishnava temple இருந்தாக்கா படியேற்றம்னு சொல்லுவோம். It is called, when the deity is taken inside the shrine, it is called the padiyetram or hecharika. அதை போகிறது அதுக்குன்னு சில பாட்டுக்கள் உண்டு. அதை நாகசுரத்தில் தான் வாசிப்போம். வேறு யாரும் பாட மாட்டா, யாரும் nobody. It should be played only on the நாகசுரம். The deity will be taken in, all the alankaram will be removed. He will be simply wearing a small dhoti like that. Then he will be taken to the chamber of the goddess for sleep. Appo Devadasi varum. No work for the Nagasuram player, but he will be standing there. He won't play. She will come. The priest will come and put that goddess near in the bed chamber.
Sainaliyam.
Ama. Vachuttu Deeparadhana kaatittu avan shavi, the temple on the shrine or shavi, he will place it and go away, the priest. The Devadasi will start to sing. Yesterday also somebody asked me to sing the song. I said, no, I won't do that because it will be more erotic. So she would sing, oh, the night has come and now the God, he has also come to your room, so enjoy the whole night, like that. Then she will close the doors. So it came to be known as Kadavadai Pat, Kadavadaithal, closing the doors. Then she will lock it and then hand it over to the priest who will be standing aside. If it is a festival day, suppose if the festival of the temple is for 18 days, today is the 9th day or 10th day or whatever. If you have a festival in the procession tomorrow also, the Nagasuram player will play a ballari. One line, just one line, not full, just to indicate, don't get immersed in that lady. That is goddess. Tomorrow you have a procession, beware. So get up early. That is a caution-like thing. That is why he used to play this Mallari, one line. Like that, Nagasuram has its own tradition. Then dance. Once upon a time, maybe 300 or 400 years back, the temple priest will do everything. The Abhishekam, Vastradharanam, everything he will do that. And then he will come out from the Sannidhi. The Devadasi will enter the Garbhagraham. She will start to do the Shodashopacharam. And finally the Alankara Deepam. That was her privilege. And right, once upon a time. Later, what is it? After all, she is a dancer. She is doing, but we are Brahmins.
அந்த அதிகாரம் இருந்தது பார்த்தீங்களா அவளுக்கு? அவளுக்கு அந்த அதிகாரம் இருந்தது. பெருமாள் தொட்டு ஆராதனை பண்ணுறதுக்கு அதிகாரம் இருந்தது.
ஆமா. அவளுக்கு இருந்தது. In fact, the Srirangam temple was saved by a Devadasi, by Ranganatha Manikam, from the Malikapur's troops. அவனை தள்ளி விடலைன்னா என்ன ஆயிருக்கும்? பெரிய பெருமாளை காப்பாற்றினதே அவ தானே. அதனால தான் அப்போ கேட்டா கோயில் ட்ரஸ்டீஸ், யூ ஹவ் சேவ்டு த டெம்பிள், யூ ஹவ் சேவ்டு அவர் காட், வாட் டு யூ எக்ஸ்பெக்ட்? நத்திங். If any of my descendants or myself, if we die, the vastra is to come from the Perumal, and the fire to cremate us should come from the temple kitchen. இப்போ ரீசெண்டாக வருது நடந்திருக்கு. அது மட்டும் இல்லை, அவன் இந்த பிரேதத்தை எடுத்துன்னு போறச்சு அவன் எந்த தெருவில் இருந்தாலும் சரி, that will be brought to the temple. I mean, outside the temple, the doors will be of course closed, but that that cottage will be kept on the floor
in front of the temple.
As she is taking a farewell from her Lord, because she has been dedicated to that particular deity. That was the custom. So dancer will do that.
So, are there Devadasis today in any temples in India?
I will tell you later.
Yes,
That is pathetic. No. In the morning, if she has a duty, in a family there may be 5 or 6 Devadasis devoted to you, attached to a particular temple. And I may have a duty, my sister will have a duty on the 3rd day or something. If I have duty from the previous night, she will be very pure. She must be very pure in every way. And when she goes to the temple, she has to wear a white sari. Only white sari is allowed in those times. And she will be having a kamandalam like thing to pour water on the way. She has to walk only on that and enter that temple. She won't come out till her service is over. If she comes out, it is understood as a pollution. It will not be sanctity. So she has to go out like that. And then in the Uchikala puja, that is the noon puja, she will stand near the Nandi or the Dvajastambha. Dvajastambha in a Vishnu temple or the Nandi in the Shiva temple, she will stand there and do all abhinayas, singing. There were some specific songs for the occasion. She will sing and perform the abhinaya. In Sai Raksha, that is the evening service, mostly they will not have any work. Of course, Rendang Kalam, that is between Ardha Jamam and Sai Raksha, there will be puja. She will sing some songs. Then, Palliyare comes. It is her duty and her privilege. Like that, she had a repertoire, what to do and when to do. If the deity is taken out, in the corner of east and south states, there will be a panda erected. There she has to dance. Dance means one varnam, Bharatanatyam varnam.
Yeah.
A varnam will be performed for 2 hours.
Oh.
2 hours, not less than 2 hours. That was the custom. So in that way, music was very much connected with the divine and only for the divine. And later it came out, Nagaswaram, for instance, for any social function, for weddings and all that, because it was considered Mangala Vadyam. Sorry, any auspicious thing should have this instrumental music. So it came to be like that. Dance came out, particularly when Rajas were very great. And they came to dance. They were called Rajadasis. But unfortunately, we mix it. We call any dancer of those times Devadasi. No. Devadasi is meant by a lady who has dedicated herself and doing service only in the temple, within the precincts of the temple. She was a Devadasi. The Rajadasi is for the court. If there is a Rajadasi, she cannot come to the temple and dance. A prohibition. The mother will be a Devadasi, the daughter will be a Rajadasi, or the elder sister, younger sister, whatever. The Rajadasi should restrict her dance only within the court. That's all. Then they came up at the time, the songs also got changed. Because if you sing something on a deity, it will be more, devotional. When it came for the Raja, she has to say, so beautiful you are. She has to say, she has to dance. Then only she will be paid by the Raja.
அப்படிதான் பதம்ஸ் அண்ட் ஜாப்பனீஸ்
அப்படிலாம் அதெல்லாம் அப்புறம் வந்தது அப்புறம் தான். அவன் தான் எல்லா மனுஷனை எத்தனை விதமாக அவன் மகா குரூபியாக இருப்பான். அவனை மன்மதனுடைய மறுபிறவின்னு சொல்லிட்டு பணம்.
But what is the difference between a Padam and a Javi?
That is another question.
Sir, Devadasi, one of the things I want to touch 3 subjects.
I'll answer him and then come. Today there is not even a single Devadasi in any temple, because in the year 1948, by the service of Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy, an act came. It was a bill in 1947. In 1948, it became an act. prevention of girls as Devadasis are dedicated to temples.
Anti-Nachact.
Anti-Nachact நம்மளா சொல்றது. அப்படி ஒன்றும் அதுவே கிடையாது. Only prevention of girls to temples, dedication of temples. அந்த ஆக்ட் வந்த அப்புறம் they were all prohibited to dance inside the temple. மைசூர்ல தான் first in Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu, then Andhra Pradesh, then Kerala.
And the reason behind that act is?
Huh?
And the reason behind that act is?
There were plenty.
Victorian moralism, all that was.
Yeah, everything.
Okay.
Western
Because a Devadasi were very pure, very chaste. She chose a partner, life partner, lived with him till her life. Suppose if he died, she will appear as a widow. She will stop dancing. That was once upon a time. Later, particularly after this act, every grant, be it a house or fertile lands given to the Devadasi by the temple, were taken back. They were practically on the streets. What will they do? Suppose if she is a very good dancer, very prominent, very talented, okay, she may get some opportunities. No. Without doing anything else, she had to sell her body. That is why they were called as a community of prostitutes, though not all. She was called a Ekacharini. She lived with one man, but since she happened to be a daughter of a Devadasi or born and brought up in the household of a Devadasi, or for having served in a temple, she was called a prostitute. So, after 1950, they were very much worried about the stigma, social stigma, and particularly their own sisters of other communities. It was a grant, a donation by the Devadasis, this art, to others. Taking it, they started to abuse. She is a prostitute. So they didn't want it. We were practicing the art. Because of their interest, we gave it to them, but they are abusing us. Why should we continue dancing? They stopped. And actually there was no dedication at all because of the act in the temple. So she could not dance inside the temple. She cannot make her own daughter or sister, no, as a Devadasi. So every girl got married like any other Hindu. That's all. Today there is not even a single Devadasi. Of course, there are.
What is the community, sir, of Devadasis in Tamil Nadu?
The caste. Isivalanga caste, but Devadasi in general பேசும்போது every girl from all communities. There are instances from to say that some Brahmin girls have been adopted. You know M.L. Vasanta Kumari, a very great musician. Her mother was Lalita Aunty, she was also a musician. Her mother was Narayani. Narayani didn't know which caste she belonged. Because when she was very young, a cowherd, you know, he brought that girl and put in the pile of a Devadasi's house. So Narayani became a Devadasi. Because she was brought up by that old lady of that house. Like that. Yammasudamma real Devadasi. Devadasi.
Vrudha Mukta.
Most of them. Except D.K. Pattamma.
community தான் தேவதாசிகள் ஜாஸ்தின்னு சொல்றாங்க.
அதாவது தமிழ்நாட்டுலன்னு கேட்டா ஒரிஜினலி தேவர் கால் தேவதாசி. அவள் மேல் மெம்பர்ஸ் இருக்காள் இல்லையோ, அவள் நட்டுவனாரா இருக்கலாம், நாகஸ்வரம் வித்வானா இருக்கலாம். அவளுக்கு இந்த மிடிவல் பீரியட் இருக்கும் இல்லையோ, அவ ரொம்ப பியூரா இருந்த பீரியட் ஒண்ணு. அதை விட்டு கீழே வந்து அவ வந்து அந்த டிகிரேடேஷன் செட்டப் ஆனோடனே இவ என்ன பண்ணா, இந்த ஆம்பளைகளாம் எனக்கு அவளுக்கு சம்பந்தமே கிடையாது, அவ யாரோ நாங்க யாரோ
Can you kindly speak in English?
So, sorry.
Huh?
English, I'm sorry.
Can you kindly
Because
speak in English? There are
Yeah,
other people-
Telugu.
In English.
Actually, no, in the.
Don't divert. So talking in English, in Karnataka, as you said, they are very pure, and I think in the Vijayanagara times, and that is in 16th century, and still earlier times, Devadasis were so integral, were considered very pure people in the temple.
Not only they commanded respect, you know.
Shantala.
Shantala Chalukya's wife.
Don't say that.
There were many Ranjakam Kuppai during the times of Krishna Devaraya. You find hundreds of inscriptions mentioning her name in Tirupati.
Yes.
If you go to Tirupati and find, I went with Nagaswami and did that epigraphy. Ranjakam Kuppai, very great dancer. But she donated all her properties to Govinda Raja and Venkatesh.
Really?
Yeah. Almari நிறைய dancers. You know, Gangai Konda Chora the concert of Gangai Konda Chora was a Devadasi. She donated all her property to the Lord.
Very nice data point.
They were very great, they were very munificent.
Very great.
They were doing. Suppose if they had no hair and if they didn't want to continue the dance or any vocal tradition, they immediately gave everything to the God. I know myself, many Devadasis in Tiruvadamalur, you know. There was one Rajambal. She had plenty of property. Finally, she donated everything to Mahalinga, the presiding deity of the temple.
She is still there.
Huh?
Rajambal is still there.
No, she's not. She did it in the year 1955 or 56.
Bangalore Nagaratnam.
Nagaratnama, for instance.
Thiruvayaru Samadhi.
Avadan Kathama.
So now it is extinct. The Devadasi tradition is extinct.
Yeah. So completely.
So kind of brings.
That is why I used to tell, yesterday also I was telling, there are plenty of Bharatanatyam dancers today.
That's-
Whoever it is, Padma Suruni, Malavika, you take anybody. Everybody is dancing well. I don't. But is there anyone to tell us what the Devadasis dance during the rituals inside the temples? No. Because it has not been documented. These Kadavadi part, there was one Nagama, a very great dancer. She used to do that. I went and sat by the Amma, why? Just I recorded everything. Recorded means I wrote everything. I have got all the songs, the Kadavadi part. That Raghotaman, you know, he said, "Sir, you bring it out. I will try to get finance for that. You have to bring it." What is the use? Wow. Okay, what is the use? It will be there lying in the books. Who is going to sing? Or who is going to practice?
It's not live. It's not live.
So, there is no Devadasi at all today, not to explain what is what she performed or and some Devadasis, they are 80 plus or 85 plus.
There are some in the Jagannath temple, I think.
Yeah, they are called Maharis. See, in each every region, in Tamil Nadu they were called Devadasis. In Andhra they were called Sanis.
Okay.
Sanis. In Maharashtra, Goa, they were called Bhogams. Like that.
That means it would have existed even in northern India before the advent of
Yeah. No, not only in northern India, in Egypt, every temple had a Devadasi. I use the term Devadasi. She was called a temple dancer.
So that brings me to one more interesting question. One of the things that as a group we have grappled is, Bharatanatyam, there is suddenly this movement, we will have a Christian Bharatanatyam and all that. And, one of the thesis of our group is, because it's been moved away from traditional proper and it's moved to a more secular art form.
Can I interrupt, Vivek?
Yeah.
If there's any other question on the Devadasi tradition, I think if people can ask, then we can go to this topic.
Yeah, I'm connecting
I
that
think
to that.
there's a separate topic which we have to separate.
Yeah,
I think she's
Lakshmi
got
has a question.
she's
Lakshmi
got a
has a
question.
question.
Yes, I was wondering,
Oh, she's in the
Can you repeat it?
ஆமா ஆமா.
அது என்னன்னு சொல்ல முடியுமான்னு கேட்குறேன்.
The Malik Kafur, when Malik Kafur came with his troops and he wanted to take away the idol to desecrate the temple, it was only this Devadasi who was later called Ranganatha Manikam. Her original name is there, but I don't remember it now. She went to the compound wall of the temple where Malik Kafur was camping, and she started to attract him by her, dance or whatever. Immediately this fellow, he said, it's a very beautiful girl is there, why not? She asked him to come up, and he went there. She pushed him away. He died there in that Malik Kafur, as well as his the army chief of Malik Kafur died there. When the captain died, almost all the forces retreated. They went back. In that way, the temple was saved. And then she was given the honorific Ranganatha Manikam. Originally, her name was something else. I know that, but it doesn't come to me now. This is the story.
Oh, Pincentra Vallino, Ranganatha Pinna.
Is it?
There was a dancing girl that went all the way to Delhi to get the Utsavam.
That is Chellapillai. Chellapillai. She went to Delhi. Actually, she came there. She was the daughter of a Mughal emperor. She came and looked at this idol. Perumala Pakraje, Perumal எப்போவுமே Sundaram, unlike Shiva. Shiva be more valiant or whatever. பெருமாளுக்கு அழகு அப்படி ஒரு அழகு பார்த்தோன்னே அப்படி மயங்கி போய் she wanted the idol to be taken away. ராமானுஜர்லாம் சேர்ந்து போய் they talked in Hindi, convinced the girl this is God. Whenever she said my Chellapillai, that is why the Perumal in Mysore is called Chellapillai. There are many Chellapillai Iyengars. She pinched her the idol, she my Chellapillai, like that. That is the story.
So I think we should
Is there-
probably conclude.
Is there any other revival strategy? I saw one lady